Feed your faith, starve your fear. Do it. Be encouraged and do it. Hey ladies, and welcome back to the Yes She Is podcast, the podcast all about encouraging you to have a better relationship with yourself, with God, and with others. And today we are talking about do it. Be encouraged and do it. Feed your faith, starve your fear. I feel like I've spoken about this quite a lot, and it's about the faith and duty and having faith, that faith without works is dead, and that whatever you are desiring to do, the things that you are believing for, you have to do the work. And a thing I'm not sure if I've touched on before, but something that really touched me today specifically was doing the work while you're having faith and what that actually looks like. Something that I have been studying right now in the Bible is the Old Testament, and just going through every single king, the stories that went down, like how the Israelites were, how I was just telling the Lord, like, Lord, I just really want to know, what was your character like? What were your people like? What was the kingdom and government like back then, so that I can get a better understanding as to how everything laid out to be in the New Testament, you know? And I feel like a lot of us, sometimes we don't go back and do the history. And that's something I was like, okay, I avoided the Old Testament except for Proverbs and Psalms and Genesis for the longest. Let me go and study it word for word, book by book. And right now, I just actually today finished the book of Ezra. Now, it is a short book, but still, I finished the book of Ezra. And there was a statement that has been repeated multiple times. And I talked about this in the last episode, but there's a statement that has been repeated multiple times since, I want to say, the first Kings. And it was specifically with King David was the first person I saw say this, or read. The first person I read say this statement, and it said, be encouraged and do it. And it's not the only time that that statement was stated in the Bible, because we go into Ezra. Here it is. And it was talking about, it was a thing going on where the Israelites were marrying outside of the Israelites, and that was seen as an improper marriage in the Bible. And he was telling the people that you need to, specifically, I want to say he was specifically talking to like the priests and the Levites, but he was also talking to just everyone in the congregation. And something at the end of everything, after telling them what they need to do and how they really sinned against the Lord, he said in chapter 10, verse 4, arise, for this matter is your responsibility. We also are with you. Be of good courage and do it. And that wasn't the first time I've read that. And I was telling the Lord today, I was like, Lord, I feel like I haven't really been seeking after you as deep as I normally like to, and I don't like that feeling. And I will say a lot of this feeling does come when I'm on my time of the month. It's become a normal thing that I don't like. Like, I don't want that to be a norm. And so I was just that's a realization that I had just now. But I was telling the Lord, like, all the different things that have been like consuming my mind, because I feel like there has been so much other things outside of prayer and outside of faith that has been consuming my mind. I feel like I've been feeding my fears versus having faith. And so when I read the devotional and it said, be of good courage and do it, it just reminded me of when King David had said it to his son Solomon about building the temple. And he says, it's in 1 Chronicles chapter 28. And I have multiple parts of it, but what's something that I've been learning a lot in the Bible, specifically with the kings, is every time they described a king, and I even said it in my last episode, was that they described whether or not they had a loyal heart and they did right unto the Lord, or they had a wicked heart and did what is wrong or against the Lord, and made the rest of the people in the nation sin. And so, something that I love that I had highlighted in chapter 28 was, as for you, my son Solomon, know the God of your father and serve him with a loyal heart and with a willing mind. For the Lord searches all hearts and understands all the intent of the thoughts. And I always love hearing and reading stuff like that, because the Lord knows our thoughts. And what I was telling y'all earlier, like, I was just so consumed with all of my thoughts, but I never really took time, or I didn't take time to just fully talk to the Lord and leave it at his feet. And so today when I was driving home, I was like, Lord, I have been so consumed with my thoughts about my worries, about my fears, and everything else going on in my life that I haven't just sat down and just talked to you and prayed and really just sought after you. And so having that reminder of like the Lord searches our hearts and knows our thoughts intent and understands all of our intents of our thoughts is a beautiful thing, because it's like, even though he knows all things, like he literally does know everything, we can still talk to him and be honest with him about our thoughts and be honest with him about where we are being consumed about, because he does care for those things. He does care because he already knows, but he wants to hear it from us because he wants that honesty and that transparency from his children. And so it goes on, and it goes on in what's called in the last verse on chapter 10. It says, "Consider now, for the Lord has chosen you to build a house for the sanctuary. Be strong and do it." Then later on in verse 20, he says, "And David said to his son Solomon, be strong and of good courage, and do it. Do not fear nor be dismayed, for the Lord your God, my God, will be with you. He will not leave you nor forsake you until you have finished all the work for the service of the house of the Lord." And that verse has been heavily just reminded to me, specifically the last couple of months since I've read that. Because like I told y'all, this year, 2026, has been all about faith and do it. Stop thinking too much about it and just do it. Think less, do more. Have faith, and faith without works is dead. To faith it out. And a YouTuber that I recently watched, her name is Baja Abdi. It's about how to become addicted to taking action. And she said in her video, she said, "Starve your fear, feed your faith." And it was a beautiful explanation as to what we need to be doing, because when I was consuming myself in my thoughts of like, oh, I don't have enough money for this, or I really want to do that, or I don't know how I'm going to be able to make it through the summer because I have a job. Oh, guys, I did get the job. Yay! Now, I didn't get the job that I was going to from the last episode that I did. I ended up bawling my eyes out. It's a whole thing. We can talk about it later, girl. Not right now. But I went to another thing and I faithed it out and I believed and I had faith, and God came through. He gave me a job, and now I have a job for this upcoming year. Yay! However, the caveat to that is that for the next 2 months, I have a steady income, but it's not enough that I see. And I'm going to have to faith it out over these next 2 months onto how I'm going to be able to afford all of my bills and just really get through the next 2 months. And what I just realized is that I was feeding that fear of, what am I going to do the next 2 months? How am I going to provide for my bills? How am I going to provide for my food? How am I going to go take care of gas? Like, gas is, I will say, I think gas is going lower, tiny bit, but we're coming down, okay? We're coming down bit by bit, and day by day. And I've just been consumed about all of those things, and I've been feeding my fear. But that reminder of the verse of be strong and of good courage and do it, I was like, oh my gosh. When Ezra said it, I was like, he's not kidding. Like, if you notice in the Bible, there's a saying that people say, the phrase "do not fear" is in the Bible 365 times, which equals saying that to us at least once every single day. But I don't know how many times that this says in the Bible to do it. Be strong and of good courage and do it. At least 5 times. I have read it personally at least 5 times that I can recall on memory. I know it has said it at least 5 times. And 5 is a number of grace. That's in also my birthday month, May. So it's a pretty big deal to me. And so for the Lord to keep reminding each king to do it, to just have faith. When I tell you to do something, do it. When I tell you to believe it, do it. When I tell you to build the house, do it. When I tell you to record the podcast, do it. When I tell you to go ask for forgiveness, do it. When I tell you that I have so much for you, just believe, just endure, do it. And today, after really just like letting all of those worries and those cares off of my shoulder and just laying them at the Lord's feet and just talking to him about it, tell me why later on, I was on my laptop and I was just looking through all these business ideas for Yes She Is that I wanted to do, of like different products and different what's it called, like the membership and events and things like that. And I've just been like planning everything out. And I'm like, even and during those planning, I started getting reach outs of like, hey, we'd like to help you out at your event. Oh, wow. Like, just so many different things started to happen. Like, even one of my clients, they were talking about how they wanted a monitor. I was driving home and there was literally, I kid you not, a free monitor on the street. And I'm going to insert an image that says, "Take me, I'm free." A monitor that works. I just got to get a cord. But outside of that, the cord's like, what, $10? And now I can use that for my client so that he can be able to do what he needs to do without worrying about, okay, that's another expense. That's one thing that we get to take off. And that was just right after I decided I'm going to believe and have faith. I'm going to feed my faith. So I fed my faith by looking up and doing research. I fed my faith into writing down the vision, into not just writing down the vision, but planning out the vision. What can I do now? What steps can I take right now without the money? What steps can I take right now without the people? What steps can I take right now to have faith, to believe? Because I know that the Lord has called me to build up Yes She Is. I know that He has called me to encourage women. I know that He has called you to seek that relationship with Him, to have a better relationship with Him. And we just need to be strong and of good courage and do it. We need to have faith to just do it. And something that the Lord has just been telling me is to increase my faith to do it. Have faith to do it. Have faith that God is going to give you the strength to do it. Have faith that you can do it. Have faith that you can believe. Have faith that you will have increased faith. And just that reminder today really just filled me up. And I have to share this with you ladies, because we all need to have that reminder of to just do it. Just do what He has called us to do. Just do what we believe in that He's leading us to do. Because that's the other thing. I was telling a friend about this. I was like, how do you guys how do you just go after the things that you really want to do? And like, you don't ever get that fear of like, well, I don't want to do anything wrong. Like, I don't want to, like, for me, it was always, I don't want to do something that leads me off the path that God has me on. I don't want to do anything wrong in God's eyes. And she told, but the caveat to that whole thing is that if I don't move, nothing happens, nothing changes. And she even told me, she said, I do it anyways. If God doesn't meant that for me, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. And I will understand that that is not something that God has me to do. But at least I did something. At least she put the work in. She had faith. She did the work. But God said that's not it. And that's it. Like, it's okay. And I won't lie, that was like a wow. Are you sure? Like, you just do it? And it's like, yes, you just do it. And it even says in the Bible to do it. Be strong, be encouraged, and do it. Faith without works is dead, so do it. I hope that this encourages you to have faith, to feed your faith, to starve your fear, because our fears are only going to continue to hold us back. I'm saying that because I know. Because I have struggled with that. And I don't want us to be struggling with that lack of encouragement, that fear of, well, I don't know if this is the right path that God has me on. If it's not, He will move everything out into your way to make sure that you do not go down that path. He will lead you to the way. He will, one, give you a way of escape. And two, He will let you know, hey, this is not what I have for you. He'll say it in the way that you understand it. He'll do everything in the way that you understand it. But He will not let you go astray, because He promised He will never leave us nor forsake us. But when God has told you to do something and you're like, oh, wow, it's a great idea, you write the vision down. And that's it. I know we got vision boards that we have not finished some of the things. I have a vision board bingo, and I have accomplished quite a few of them. Now, some of them I have the acceptance for, but I haven't been able to do it yet. And so it's like, okay, we have to wait. But the process of doing it, the getting there, that is what we started. That is what matters. We did the work and we believe to have faith for it. Now we're just waiting to receive. Now I'm literally just in the receiving era. I'm seeing everything. It's like a plant. You plant it, the roots begin to sprout, but then you see the plant grow out of the ground and it begins to bloom. But now you have to wait. You see it happening, but you have to wait for the fruit to be ripe. You have to wait to be able to actually eat and enjoy the fruits of your labors. But you cannot enjoy any fruits of your labors if you do not do the work. So have faith and do it. And I hope that this encourages you. I hope that you are able to take this, receive this. Shout out to whoever just subscribed. Shout out to my 7 subscribers. I appreciate y'all so much. I just told myself, I said I'm going to at least put out 1 podcast every single month. If I can put out 1 a month, we did it. I would like to push out more. And I'm going to push myself to push out more, especially during these next 2 months, because I said I'm not holding back anything, okay? We are doing it. Okay, yes, she is doing it. Whatever your it is, let me know. Comment it down below, because I want us to have faith to do the work that God has called us to do, because we're not going to leave this year. We're not leaving 2026 without accomplishing the things that God has put on our hearts to accomplish, okay? He said to build it and he will increase it, okay? If you have faith, if he has given you the vision and you have faith for it, do the work. Even when it doesn't look like it's going to happen, even when you don't have the money for it, even when you don't have the people for it, do it. Start it. Do what you can. Work with what you have. All you have is all you need. I love you, ladies. I hope that you are encouraged from this episode. Yes, she is feeding her faith. Yes, she is starving her fear. And yes, she is doing it. Love you. Bye.